Okay. Right, good evening, colleagues. I'm Clerk, Christina, good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Human Resources Committee on Monday the 6th of October. First item on the agenda is apologies for absence received.
Councillor Marie Workman.
Second item is any declarations of interest. Anyone who has an interest to declare? No. Item 3 is minutes, to receive and approve the minutes of the HR committee held on the 13th of June 2025. Consider any matters arising.
I'm sorry.
These are being circulated, but then they're going on the website imminently.
So they're actually minutes of the 7th of August, it's the EGM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does everyone have sight of those minutes? Anything arising on page 1? This was an extraordinary HR committee meeting held on the 7th of August. Anything on page 2? No? So you happy to approve those minutes? All those in favour? Could we have a second of that? Second.
I'll second.
All those in favour?
I wasn't there.
2 abstains.
We have 3.
3 abstains.
3 in favour.
Okay.
And 2 abstain. Okay, so I shall now sign those minutes. That's on new system.
I've done that for you.
Thank you. And signed as a true record. So what we're trying to do from now on is make sure minutes are signed at the next meeting and that they go on websites. In the past, as you know, we've had often our minutes missing for several months.
So if there is a correction to the minutes, are they made by hand?
That's why I circulate them pretty quickly after the meeting. So if there are any corrections, get them to me as soon as you get them, have a read through, check them, I'll put them on so that when we come to the actual meeting now, you should have had.
Some certificates.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a useful system.
Yeah, so I'll do them tomorrow, send them to you, read them through. If there's any corrections to make, send them back to me. Assuming that they make sense, I'll put them onto the minutes, and then I'll just file them really to sit there for a month, and then I'll send them out with the papers, and hopefully there'll be no surprises.
Great, thank you. Item 4 is public participation. A 20-minute session set aside for members of the public to make representations. Do we have any representations? No, so it's good. Item 5 is recruitment of responsible financial officer. Members to receive a report from the town clerk regarding the recruitment of an RFO. Job description is attached. This is attachment 5A and 5B. Members are invited to receive the report. So do we have any comments on this report?
Yes.
Councillor Black?
Can I just ask, I like the way you put, that whoever wrote this put the options on, but if we look at section 3, we advertise and a new candidate is successful. Is the assumption that they're only going to come from an agency, or will we be advertising a bit wider so that it may not be an agency person?
I think if we were to use an agency, I think it would be sensible to also advertise via Calc or SLC or both. If they come via Calc and SLCC, then there would be no charge.
Okay, that's what I thought the situation.
Clear,
And we've got, the only other thing is if the current interim is not successful, you could potentially have motivation issues about a good handover.
Yes. Yes.
That just needs to be managed, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, but that is.
It's a risky. Yeah.
So 2 questions. Can I just clarify the quoted costs of those 3 agencies? Are they on the basis that they provide the recruited candidate as opposed to that being a charge regardless of whether they do or
No,
not?
the successful candidate.
Comes from that agency,
Yes,
that's what
they
they charge, that's
charge
fine. And then secondly, whilst the,
I would hope to improve a little bit on those.
can I assume that what you're seeking is a decision on which agency to go with? Because
No, whether you want to do 1, 2, 3 or 4 option.
and I suppose my prior question influences the second question, because actually if we don't have to pay any other than the successful agency, then I don't know why we wouldn't go with 3 unless there's an upfront cost of doing so.
I mean, in my experience, usually 2 or 3 agencies, and sometimes they'll be agency A, sometimes agency B, and some agency C will deliver the goods.
I mean, I suppose there's, 1 and 2 are more or less the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
The IRFO becomes the RFO.
Yeah.
3 is we go all out and go through a recruitment process, which the IRFO can take part in. 4 is we say, okay, we're not sure, we replace the IRFO with another IRFO. Personally, I think that's really just marking time.
Yeah.
Personally, but that, it's your decision.
So my question was going to be, do we have any knowledge of these agencies? But if we're going to do all 3, we wouldn't have to make a decision on
Well,
one of them, would we?
the only issue is that they all want to have sole agency, because obviously then they know they're getting their money. Morgan Jones is the agency that I used to, that I contacted to find our new, she's a temp to perm assistant clerk. And they've been very good. I used them because a friend of mine who runs a small business recommended them. NA Group are based in Discovery Park and have employed lots of people to the council before. HR Go are currently providing the interim RFO. So they've all got their pros and cons. It depends whether, if we want to go, whether you want to go sole agency or joint agency, they won't give you such a good percentage. They will charge more if you go joint agency.
But you only pay that
The
fee to
successful.
so okay. And that 12% of salary, annual, 12, is it?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's quite a lot of money.
Okay.
So sorry, what's the advantage of seeking an agency? This is an agency to recruit an RFO. What's the advantage of doing that rather than doing what we did with the town clerk role, advertising through Calvin and
Because that's what we tried last time, and I don't think there was an extremely wide pool of candidates. If you're looking for a selection to choose from, you can still do the CALC and SLCC, but if you want a wide selection of candidates to choose from, we need to
so
look wider.
what are they doing that we're not?
Sorry?
What are they doing that
They are recruitment agencies, it's their job. They go and actively search through LinkedIn profiles and advertise on Indeed and all that sort of stuff.
Sorry, can I just say the Owl isn't actually
Isn't it?
live?
No, there's no little light at the bottom.
It looks like it says live.
Is it something on there interesting, maybe? Actually,
No, I'm not waving to you, am I on now? Nothing's coming through. It's dead.
It's
Okay.
a dead screen. It's upcoming.
Is there an on-off button?
I don't know sufficient about this machine.
Looks fine from here, but
There is no.
I can end the stream and start again.
I think it should, yeah. It's upcoming.
That's
Hello,
right.
Al.
Anything?
That should be green light on the top.
There's normally a little light that comes
Oh,
on.
his eyes are on.
Right, yeah, the eyes are on, yes.
There's no one at home.
There's a plus or minus at the bottom there, in my direction.
This one. And that's plus minus.
be wrong.
There is a little switch here, I don't know.
Press that one.
Well, it's
Normally who
no,
set you?
That is,
shouldn't be affecting it. I think if you just read those two lines. All the power's on, don't worry, and
power is all on,
yeah, the lights are on, so,
lights are
Is there a
on.
switch on this side?
no, that's volume off.
Yeah, these are volume plus or minus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any other,
No, I think it's
there's a speech one there, but that's the microphone.
it's YouTube connection.
That's microphone on off, plus minus. Yep.
You're live, it says.
We got the zombie, oh,
Doesn't need to be shared.
It's all a bit weird.
I think the only thing you can do is just turn him off and on again.
amazing how often it works. Is there an on switch underneath at all?
Blinking its eyes, isn't it?
Are you right, blinking its eyes? It's spooky. And now the hours are one day.
Hello?
Yeah, we've got the blue light on where the cables come in. You should be getting a feed now. Lights have gone there.
You're now live on YouTube.
Sorry.
Yes,
Good.
Have you just got me though?
I just, well, the fact is if we're recording something, let's go with it.
There's, well, the two lights on this side are not on, but the purple light at the connector is on.
Not following for some reason.
Where is the live?
Just you though, it is just you.
Yeah.
So on the show.
Having your owl, my owl is plugged in.
No, we're going there from YouTube, so.
Right.
Red light flashing this side.
Flashing red light now.
Flashing
Come on now.
yeah.
It's not liking it. It says it's not plugged in. It is plugged in. Join a meeting to control the meeting. Device update. software architect, no, I'm not.
No, don't. With the R, get it towards you to share, that would be enough.
I can. It's not ideal.
Ah, right, you did it from there, yes. Okay, as long as you've got the chair, yeah, that's fine, we'll get the voices on there.
You've got a fairly wide screen there.
Yeah, that's okay.
Look, that's okay.
Sorry. Otherwise we'll be waiting forever.
Should we start the meeting again, or?
I think
It's
a
got
quick
screen on,
recap was.
Yeah, do quickly, shall we?
Okay, so,
Bob, can I answer the question that for certain roles, agencies seem to be preferred by a lot of the candidates, and things like finance and one or two other specialist roles, agencies are usually a better source, unless it's a really massive job like a finance director or something.
Yeah.
For town clerks, it's very much more limited and specialist field. Agencies may not be much use.
so I'm just going to give a recap of where we are with this meeting, because the hour wasn't working, so welcome members and colleagues to this meeting, the Human Resources Committee on the 6th of October. We've been through 3 of the agenda items so far, so apologies for absence received, Councillor Marie, no declarations of interest. The minutes of the previous meeting held in August have been approved. There were no items, requests for public participation, and we're now on item 5, which is the recruitment of a responsible finance officer.
Yeah.
Which is item 5A, attachments 5A and 5B. So we've just been talking about the process of advertising that as a permanent role. Councillor Shue.
I'm just going to say that we really should try and negotiate the charges from the agencies, because it actually, as Councillor Tomlins facially expressed a view, it's quite a steep amount of charge that will be incurred, and that person, whoever it is, could just be with us for a matter of months, and we might pay £6,000, £7,000, £8,000 in terms of charges.
All the agencies are different, but
Yeah.
there is a rebate if the candidate is not
that's good to know as
a
well.
good fit. So you pay when the candidate is appointed, but if they're unsuccessful after, it depends on the agency. So I can't give you a precise,
No.
but imaginary terms. If they leave after 2 weeks, you'll get all your money back. If they leave after 4 weeks, you'll get 50% of your money back. If they leave after 6 months, you'll get, a third of your money back. I'm making numbers up, but it's that kind of thing. I think if we are going down the agency route, I think the bigger question is, do you want to go sole agency or joint agency? And then once I know that, I can go and meet up the agencies for the best possible rates that they can do.
So just to be clear on this, the current RFO, interim RFO, will continue in post until such time as we appoint a permanent RFO. He could be the person who applies and is successful, we don't know.
Yeah.
We can't. But if we go through an agency and someone comes to us from an agency, we're going to be paying 10% or more of that person's annual salary as a fee to that agency
10 to 15%.
for the next 10 years.
No, just.
Once.
One off.
It's a one-off payment.
Yes.
Plus VAT.
Okay.
Plus
Right, so
VAT.
that was
Sorry, could I ask a couple of questions, please? Number one, in terms of the service that the agency would provide, do they pre-interview and screen the candidates? Do they do
So they,
psychometric testing and check
I don't know
references?
if they do psychometric I don't know I think again it will depend on the agency, what they do, but at the basis they will do initial interviewing, initial screening, reference checking, all that stuff. They will propose a short list of 4 or 5 candidates, and we can decide which 3 we want to interview, and then go from there.
Okay, so that's my first point. My second point is, I too am concerned about the cost, because it does run to thousands of pounds, and I don't know if we've got any budget for this to cover the cost of this, so I think we do need to check the budgetary position. And the third comment I would make is that I know, or we all know, that the interim RFO did apply previously, and I think instead of saying you can apply again, I think we should say to him, if he wishes to, his application would still be considered, but if he wishes to update his application, that's his call. And what was the I've got another thing, but it's just slipped off my mind. Oh, sorry, the fourth thing is, I think a sensible approach would be to actually to advertise it kind of using the low cost options to see what the response is for 2 or 3 weeks before committing to an agency. That's what I'd do if it was my business.
Yeah.
You know, put a notice up and things like this. You never know who might be interested, and use the Calc and the SLCC, use those options. Advertise it on our website,
Facebook.
So if the successful candidate comes through now, call SLCC, there's no fit.
No.
And that would include the interim.
Yes.
You just have to be very careful. If you go down that route, and I'm not saying don't do it, you just have to be very, very careful that you're documenting clearly the route the person is coming from. Because agencies quite often say, oh well, Fred's on my books, and therefore you were actually recruited. You just need to get the sort of paperwork absolutely spot on.
So where did you hear about this advert?
Yeah,
Where
kind
did
of thing. Because these are all the machinations that agencies.
Yes, I mean, I already experienced it a little bit with the temporary member of staff, and I had to box their ears.
Yeah, well, you've got the experience, and that's fine.
So I was just going to say that at the moment we're not due to meet again until January. My personal views, I think there's some things to do here that we would benefit from coming back together again to discuss this before the button is pushed, because, for example, the interim RFO has to focus and is focusing on the budget setting for next year. If we then put a layer on top of that about advertising, advertising the role and him applying and others applying, that could distract, and the budgets won't be signed off until January or so. I'm just thinking whether there's an interim step of coming back on this, the negotiation about the best rates we can get. But I'm happy if we feel we need to go forward. Budget position. That's my feeling, but you know, if others think no, actually we need to get on with it, then so yeah.
There's an item later on the agenda about the staffing structure generally. I mean, the RFO post is
Part of that.
critical, but we have in the past talked about having a finance assistant, if you like, or restructuring the role in a different way. So is this premature?
I don't think so. I think we need an RFO.
Yeah, we do.
I would agree.
But also, when we were discussing the town clerk role, we were saying the town clerk needs to be bedded in and see how the structure works before we make these big decisions.
So let me just play out a scenario. We make a decision that we want to push on today, which I'm not adverse to at all, but we decide to just go down the Calc route, and the interim RFO applies, and the only applicant that applies is the interim RFO. The whole point about us pausing it was to allow Sophie to bed it in, but also to make it a competition as opposed to a direct appointment. That's a scenario that could easily play out, because Malcolm Calc are not necessarily the best vehicles for finding
Finance particularly.
funds.
Yeah, because the agencies will be used to dealing with finance people from a whole range of disciplines, and their qualification may be equivalent, but not closely focused on the local authority side. But they still may have, perfectly adequate. So how long would you suggest we defer?
got costs that mounts because we've got an interim. I think we come back in 4 weeks' time or so. We come back in November with the things done that need to be done, and that then pushes out the conclusion of the whole process until about February, which I think is more sensible in terms of the budget setting having been completed.
What's your view, Sam?
Yes, it's fine, it's just, yeah. I would think it's difficult for the IRFO,
Yes.
you know, in terms of keeping him engaged and,
Yeah.
you know, I think we'll talk about sort of general stuff and stuff in closed session, but I think if it were me, I would feel, you know, just the can keeps on getting kicked down the road. But, you know, he's an IRFO, that is the way it goes.
And that's why I think Councillor Green's point is right about doing it in a stepped process in terms of purity. But I think in the sense of knowing that there's a candidate there that may well apply, the scenario of that being the only application just puts it back to where we started from.
Yeah, it's sort of number 4 really, isn't it?
The RFO is absolutely critical, isn't it?
Mm.
So do you have a proposal, Councillor Green?
Well, sorry, just before I make a proposal, I was just kind of thinking, I don't look at the kind of the newspaper job columns and stuff like that, but, you know, do local newspapers run, do they have, you know, just to kind of to put it in Kent Online or somewhere like
Not
that?
for this
you know?
kind of specialist
No.
job, no.
No, but for an accountancy, that would throw the net open more to accountancy
Yeah.
type people as
Yes.
opposed to RFOs. I don't know whether that's worth investigating as well.
Well, is it a essential requirement of the job that they have previous local government experience?
No.
Because the current RFO doesn't.
No,
So,
but he's getting it on the
He
job.
does that.
Yeah.
He does that.
Not necessarily, but
so you're suggesting we go Cal, SLCC and an advertisement in local press or Kent press?
Well, I think it's something that we should investigate.
I don't think job ads work in the same way anymore.
I
You
think
know,
It's agencies.
I think it is all agencies having daughters in their 20s. They
People
just
send
sit
their
online
CVs in. Yeah.
and they sit online and they look at what the agencies have got. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Indeed.
they'd never consider looking. Maybe a professional trained person would, but yeah.
So could we not go direct to Indeed? Because that's the biggest online agency, isn't it?
do I have to LinkedIn?
Indeed.
Oh, indeed, indeed.
Indeed, I get
Qualities.
that.
So
I think the issue there is I don't have the professional expertise to sift
No.
600,000 applicants that will apply if it's a direct ad on Indeed. That is, I mean, yeah, I don't have the experience in doing that. I've never, you know,
Okay, that's just a thought.
you know, if you would like to receive the applications, Councillor Green, and sort them all out.
I think my workload is already quite extensive. As
I
yours
just,
is.
I don't feel that I've got the expertise, I don't have experience, I don't really have time, I
No.
don't think I can do that competently.
Okay.
So is the consensus that we go down the agency route and the Cal, SLCC route?
Well, I think
By
the
bullet.
the proposal is that number one, we advertise in the low cost, the calcing,
Yeah,
and so forth.
SLCC.
We defer the agency appointment until such time as you've got clarifications from the agencies in terms of their fees and so appointments and so forth.
What is your instinct, sole or joint?
I think you're better off just dealing with one organisation, to be honest.
Is there any evidence as to, in this locality, which one is far more successful than the others? Because most of these agencies are muchness. And, you know, to be honest, and people also register with multiple agencies.
I mean, I have spoken to members of staff at those 3 agencies.
I know.
You know, who they got on the books the day that we choose.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a roll of the dice.
Do they specialise in local government or?
No, there are local government specialisation agencies, but I'm not sure
No.
that it's appropriate. I think if we were looking for a financial officer of Kent County Council,
Yeah.
that would be appropriate.
Yeah, we have to look at the pool that is
Is
here,
here,
that
yeah.
focuses on sandwich as
Yes,
opposed
exactly.
Or charity.
to discipline.
Yeah.
Or charity.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, from a budgetary point of view, what, if all candidates are registered with all of these agencies, we should go with the
One.
cheapest one.
So
Because
a
why
charity.
pay 50% more?
And also have a conversation to say, actually, we're thinking about just going with you, what's
Yeah.
the best deal we
Okay.
can agree.
So we're looking for the,
Council Bank, so.
Yeah, is it worth speaking to Thanet, or Margate or Ramsgate, and deal to see what their experience of the agencies are? I don't know how it works in local authorities, but certainly in universities you could often pick up the phone and say, is Fred Blogg's agency better than Jim Beam's agency?
I can certainly inquire.
I think that might help you get to a decision. I've absolutely no idea which one of these is any better, but that might help you. Has this one given you good service, yes or no? And come
Okay,
back
well,
to
there's
that.
Clerk forums I can answer.
Pardon?
There's Clerk forums I can answer.
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's phone or forum, yeah.
And you have experience of one, a positive
Yes.
experience of
Yeah,
one.
she's been, they were good, they provided 3 good candidates.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
they were, and the agency that I dealt with, as I said, I had to box the ears, and it turned out the agency that I dealt with had acted with integrity. So that is in its favour.
That's a good recommendation.
So is the consensus that we go advertise for the permanent post via Clerk and SLCC now, and then meet again in 4 weeks, once we've done some more due diligence on
On the
On the
agencies
agencies.
and checked our budgetary
the checked
position.
up position? Is that proposal?
There is just one major risk. If the interim applies to that route and is still unsuccessful, you're going to have quite a motivational challenge when you re-advertise it, because this person now would have been at the receiving end of 2 no thank yous.
I think the important thing is that we need to get a selection of candidates, and I believe the interim RFO will understand that we just can't make a single appointment. We've got to have a choice.
Councillor Wells, may I put down as an action point for you to contact the IRFO to explain on behalf of the committee your thought process, because I don't think it's very professional if I just say to him second hand in the office.
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
happy to meet
Yeah.
with him this week.
Okay.
sometime. Okay, so is that proposal?
I'll say
Yeah, and to invite, his application will be considered, but if he wishes to amend his application, he's welcome to. I don't think we need to say to him, you need to apply again, when he's got an application on the table and a busy workload as well.
So can we just go through what the proposal is again? Just to make sure it's right.
Number one, use the
Now,
Nalk and Calc.
for how long?
Well, I think, for 2 or 3 weeks, you get, the feedback, then after that it goes.
And SLCC?
Yes, yeah.
Including, the one I recommended was the silver, which
Yeah.
included social media, which
Yeah.
I felt
Yes.
having social
Absolutely
media would be
essential.
worth it. Okay, so SLC silver and Calc for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Can we put a date on that?
well, from whenever you launch it, whenever they launch it, Town Clerk.
May I suggest you specifically make it 3 weeks, because 2 weeks is pretty constrained, and if somebody just misses it because they're
Okay.
away,
Okay,
not many people take more than a 2-week break.
okay, use SLCC and Calc, silver, 3 weeks, okay? Councillor Wiles is going to contact, the IRFO
And
with a plan.
and you're going to advertise it on Facebook and the website.
Facebook.
Is Facebook an appropriate medium any longer?
Town council. Page.
On our town council page, yes, which could then be shared.
And then,
You're going to ask for best and final offers for sole agency rates?
sole agency rates.
Yeah. We're going to check the budgetary position. And then we're going to reassess the position in a month's time.
Yeah, but an extraordinary meeting. Okay, so that's the proposal. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favour? Agreed approach.
Okay.
Thank you. So item 6 is recruitment of an assistant.
Sorry, are we going to say anything about the person specification and the job description? I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Right, very briefly. If we look at the overall responsibility, we're saying it's definitely going to be the Maddox as well. Are we?
Where is that? Sorry.
If you look at overall responsibilities, page 1.
Yeah.
So I think for today we have to drop it in there, but once the committee moves into the charity stage, I think that charity has to look at owning all of its responsibilities.
Okay, I may be jumping the gun then.
I don't think you're jumping the gun. I think you answered the right question, but I don't think we can remove it for now.
We can't preempt that, can we?
Right.
So that's to say.
I was interested in, but towards the bottom of that page, financial management income. Oversee income from investments and be the main point of contact with investment companies. Is that not what councillors are supposed to be doing?
No, this person is the main point of contact for Juliet or.
But overseeing investments is quite different from being a main point of contact.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I just, literally, this is the same one that you had last time, I didn't change anything.
I recognise that word, oversee. No, but I think at the end of the day, what's important is that we understand when we need to make drawdowns and so forth from other funds or whatever. So I think I'm not too precious about that oversee income, because the RFO has got to make sure that we've got the monies in from
Overseeing is
wherever it comes
literally
from.
what income is where.
Yeah, and oversee our cash flow position and so forth.
Yeah, so.
And you could just add on the end of that and report, provide regular reports to the council.
I think I prefer something like that, because that's a slight, my interpretation was that we were really asking this person to really oversee Juliet, and I don't think we are.
No, that's clearly the trustee's role, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the way I read it, okay?
Well, yeah, if we're doing that, if we can put cash flow, oversee cash flow and income,
I'd be happy with that.
and just leave it at that.
Yeah, happy with that.
So oversee cash flow and
And
income from
yeah,
investments.
as the,
and
and
provide
the
no,
main
delete the rest.
And the main point of contact, yes, I mean, don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And the last one I got, if we look at financial management on page 2 at the bottom, oh sorry, no, we've done that. Where was it now? Job competencies, page 3, towards the bottom. I'm a little bit surprised for our RFO to say financial management audit and assurance is the second competency, not the first. Now, maybe I didn't look at the original version very thoroughly, but it struck me as a little bit odd. Surely the first thing is financial management and assurance.
I think it's.
I'm
I'm not sure the order of those things is any kind of prioritisation.
As you wish.
And governance, in a way, is the most important thing of all, isn't it? Yeah. So you happy with it?
I've raised the question. We have an
No,
answer.
that's good.
No, we have an
That's
answer.
good.
So I'm not going to go to the wall on this one.
So just in summary then, we're asking the clerk just to change item D under financial
B,
management
so
income.
oversee cash flow and income from investments, and be the main point of contact with investment companies, and provide reports to the council.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's fine.
Regular.
I just had a minor point, it was just on E, and it said source manage insurance policies for all properties and assets, together with the specialist insurances. Would that not be in combination with the, or in conjunction with the property manager?
It's, everybody does it, I mean, I do, you know, I've always done insurance
Oh, okay.
policies as well.
So it's not, yeah. And there was a tiny typo just to be pedantic. Sorry, go back.
I thought I was a detail hound.
Which was it? I wrote it down, I can't remember what it was now. Sorry.
Okay, let's move on.
Yes.
Okay, can we move on?
Can we accept the job description?
So
Yes.
is the job description accepted? All those-
Accepted, yes, in favour.
Seconded, all those in favour?
Hang on, who seconded?
I seconded.
All agreed?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. Right, next item is recruitment of an assistant clerk. This is attachment 6A and 6B. Report from the town clerk, and we have an update on this.
Yes, this is really where we are with this. We have a candidate that started today, it depends, you know, if she is successful, we can take them after 10 weeks, temp to perm free of charge, or we can go through the recruitment process as we've already discussed. But at the moment, she's day one.
I want to say any more about.
I think we should probably discuss anything more in
Yeah.
confidential.
What I would suggest is if we are going to move somebody from temp to permanent, we should do that with an STC decision to confirm that.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent. So the update is we have a temp in position as from today, and Chloe leaves on Friday, so there's a week's overlap.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the update on that.
Can I just ask a couple of
That's
questions
about,
on
yeah.
the job description,
Okay.
please?
This was updated by Chloe
Right,
to reflect what she actually does.
excellent. When trained and experienced to attend meetings as clerk and so on, what happens in the meantime?
I will
Should
clerk.
committees, that's a heck of a workload.
Yes.
Is there no possibility for some of the smaller committees that they do their own clerking in the meantime?
Delighted.
The role of the clerk is more than just being there to take minutes and play them back. We should have a clerk available to ask questions of importance of your guys and so on. So there is an issue, but the quicker that we understand the competence of the person who's come in, and their ability to spread onto that, then that's what should be done. But I think there is a halfway ground, picking up Councillor Black's point is important. There is a halfway ground that actually it's not uncommon that minutes have been done, for example, by the chair or somebody in the meeting. And as long as the town clerk controls that and is content with the product, then that's fine. So there is some.
We can just, I think
Yeah.
this would be better to discuss deeper in the confidential section. Options as
Till
it were.
then, then.
Okay.
But yeah, in the short term, that's me. And when the,
Persons so yes.
So any other points on that job description?
Fine.
We're happy to agree that? I'll propose it.
Second.
All those in favour? Okay. Next item is 7, recruitment of a security officer. This is from the property manager. This is attachment 7A and 7B. So, do you want to introduce this?
yes, okay. Our current PAYE caretaker is leaving us after 8 years. And so the property manager's been having a bit of a rethink about how we can, you know, what gives us the most strength going forward. Yes, I think the report really emphasises that actually the caretaker normally unlock the Guildhall, doesn't do security, and evening duties are an issue, which is not really a caretaker's role. So he suggested this new role, which is a bit broader. There would be elements of the caretaker's role in there, absolutely, but there would also be other things: security officer with a dual supervisor license preferred, a qualified security professional, first aid trained, visible and robust security professional, undertaking the town sergeant duties, which I know is something that the council has sort of thought about in the past.
Yeah.
I think the main thing, supporting large scale events alongside our outsourced security team. If you've got a big event or there's something that might have more alcohol than normal, we've got our own guy who is, Acon great, but it's somebody in-house taking on those bigger events. The benefits: increasing value for money, enhancing safety and professionalism, strengthen our capacity to deliver high quality events, both internal and external, and maintain the flexibility whilst reducing unnecessary duplication. That is a 30-hour security officer post. There is then the question of whether or not it's a 30 or a 37-hour role, which is in the later report, I think, in the confidential.
So this is replacing an employee, directly employed employee, with another employee, but with a different remit, a different
Slightly different remit.
Also on 30 hours a week, potentially on 37.5 hours a week, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, that's the point I wanted to clarify, that this appointment was a PAYE one and not a WIN one.
Yeah, it's like for like, but with a different
Slightly
job
different spec.
description.
Yeah, understood.
I was searching here, two questions. I'm a little bit out of touch, but who is doing the setup and dismantling of the market stalls? Is it, would it?
At the moment we have a WIN.
And we continue with that?
Yes.
Yes, that will continue, yeah.
Thank you.
I think our current caretaker does do certain elements of it as well. I think everyone's pretty flexible, basically.
Yes.
It doesn't solely follow. The main person who does the market stalls is the WIN contractor.
Okay. The second thing is, you're going to have to describe the hours carefully, because presumably this person will be more likely to be spending more time in evening work than day work.
I think the impression I've had from Julian, I think we need to clarify it, is that it would be occasional evening work, that Acon security would continue, so would not be replacing our current security team, but this would be supplementing that, giving it a bit of robust reinforcement, an in-house guy for the big events. So
it might not be an evening, of course.
Yeah, it might not be in the evening, but say there was a big wedding on a Saturday night, we would use this person over contracted people because they are home team, they'll know the building really well, and they'll be able to provide really robust presence.
Might I suggest we need a greater clarity from Julian at some stage as to typical hours.
Yes, I think that's, but I don't think that necessarily stops Julian from getting on with the recruitment process.
No, but it will be a question that people will ask.
Yeah.
And we need to, contractual terms, you have to have some indication.
So at the moment and it may be me, I'm sort of losing sight of the staffing model. I know we're going to talk about it in confidence because we're going to go into personal details. So I'm reserving my judgment around this until we've done that, because what's not clear is the cost of this. What's not clear is the cost of this versus what we currently are spending. And it's understand more about so we actually are in control of the finances. The argument for a role that's more focused towards security I support, definitely, but it's about affordability, and I'm not clear yet about the affordability aspect, but I know we're going to cover that in with the confidential part.
I think for future reports of this kind, when we're talking about either replacing someone or changing their remit, there should be a financial element to that, so that we can be clear, is it more, is it less? Because I think over the last year, the whole caretaking team has changed completely.
Yeah.
And it's a bit hard to get to grips with exactly what's happening. So are you happy to make a decision that in principle we agree that this post should be advertised at 30 hours a week, but with the details to be clarified by the property manager?
That's not quite a
thought-
decision.
No.
I thought that we wanted to discuss this in a little bit more detail before we
Yeah,
get
it was
to
the
I
more
might suggest
information.
deferring that decision until the
Yeah,
confidential section.
Because we're talking about an individual and
I understand that.
person, yeah.
But because we've got sort of salary information, it's up to yourselves, but I think if we make one decision now, and that corrals you down a particular direction later
And also
on.
we're talking about the overall budget which this fits into. So
Yes.
can we agree that we defer this to the confidential part of the agenda, if you're happy, subject to the members
I'll
here
propose
voting
that.
for that?
I'll propose that.
Okay. I'll second it. Those in favour? Okay. That's one abstention. So we'll move on from that item. The job description is there, so are there any comments on that?
It says working hours, occasional weekend, evening or weekend where
Yeah.
required to be taken
Yeah.
back as time off in lieu. So,
Are you happy to approve that description at this stage, or to?
no, sorry, I'm on the page.
Let's defer that to the confidential.
Well, no, I don't see any reason in not reviewing the job description and being content with it,
No,
and
yeah.
approving it
Yeah,
it's not a confidential item, it's a job description,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm happy with the job
I
description.
think principally that is sad, and it feels,
Yeah.
so
I'm happy to propose it.
I'll second that. All in favour? Okay,
So that's proposed.
I mean,
Mr.
seconded by me. Right, let's move on to item 8 is confidential matters. To resolve under the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act of 1960 in accordance with Standing Order 5.1.2 to exclude the press and public on the grounds that publicity would be prejudicial to the public interest by reason of the confidential nature of the business to be transacted. And the specific reason is that we're going to be talking about information relating to a particular employee or a particular office holder under the authority. And a decision is required. And just to be clear, this confidential vote refers to items 9, 10, 11 and 12, which follow on this agenda. So
Yeah.
I'm happy
Well,
to.
9, 10 and 11, it doesn't actually relate to
Not
date and
12,
time of
yes,
next
there's
meeting.
Yes, we can do that now if
We
you like.
can do
Date-
that, why
Date
not?
and time of
Yes.
next meeting, item 12 is Wednesday the 7th of January.
Yes.
Except we've said we're going to have another.
Well, not yet arranged, so.
Not yet arranged.
Not
Okay.
yet to be arranged, okay. So I propose that we vote under the confidential matters that we go into confidential session. Do we have a second on that?
Yeah.
That's agreed, all those in favour?